she went out drinking last night after work. Well, she came home about 3 in the morning with the nylons in her purse, and I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it. Well, I can't eat and I can't sleep. I think about it all the time. Well, she said she wanted to go away with her girlfriends, like for the weekend. I said no. She said, well, if I promise to miss you, will you let me go? Then I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it. Well, man, I can't eat and I can't sleep. I'm worried about it all the time. Worried when I'm driving, worried when I sleep. Man, I worry so much I can't even eat. Worried in the morning, but these words are just in my head. Next thing you know, man, I'm gonna be worried when I'm dead. I saw my job in the warnings, so I called my boss to see. The secretary said that he had to get right back to me. Huh? Man, I'm worried about it. Yeah, I'm worried about it. Man, my life is going to hell in a handcart. I'm worried about it all the time. And it give me the blues, too. Sleep. Man, I worry so much I can't even eat. I'm worried in the morning, but I know these words all in my head. But the thing I'm worried about now is I'm gonna be worried when I'm dead. I saw my buddy sneaking out the back without making a sound. And then I noticed my dog don't bark whenever he come around. And I'm worried about it. Oh man, I'm worried about that. Yeah, I can't eat and I can't sleep. I'm worried about it all the time. Well, I can't eat and I can't sleep. I'm worried about it all the time. Man, my life's going to hell in a handcart. I'm worried about it all the time.
I'm not always a sarcastic asshole. But when I am, you can be sure it's a Friday.
This is Gary Gnu.
Hi everybody, it's Friday night. Welcome to the patio.
Only TV news program guaranteed to contain no news whatsoever.
Canadian Combat Coalition, because their leader has got balls this fucking big and he don't mind telling you how it is. Duke Willis, only one I respect.
2017 ended with me getting mobbed by Antifa in Niagara Falls. My buddies and I were abandoned by George Halleck and the Storm Alliance because I posted a pic about beating the hell out of Antifa. George didn't like that. I wound up getting hot chocolate and bottles of water dumped on me, and my buddy rode his Harley right through the crowd of Antifa. We had fun. Thanks, George.
Get me a job working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The only one that I got any respect for from Patriot Group is Duke Willis, because he'll fucking tell you how it is. He's just telling you how it is. With the exception of CCC and Duke Willis. You got a leader there that don't give a fuck. He'll tell you how it is, and I like him.
Turn Labor Day weekend into Labor Day week. Shut the country down for an entire week. Just stay home.
But for you Patriot Groups, Duke Willis, you're the only one with any balls, buddy. Thumbs up, you're the only one with any fucking balls out there.
On the Patio, live Friday nights at 9, Facebook and YouTube. Join the show via Skype or Facebook Messenger. Just look for Duke Willis. Wear your tinfoil hat. Things tend to get a little crazy on the patio. Hi, everybody. How's things on this fantastic Friday night? Our first Friday of 2019. We got 52 more of these sumbitches to get through. By the way, did everybody have a good Christmas? I personally had a great Christmas. Let's flip cams here. I want to show you. I want to share with you some of my special white privilege. Every year, my mom buys me a new car. I got me some white-ass privilege. Want to see my new car? This one's real cool. That's my new car for Christmas. Isn't it fucking great? White privilege is a wonderful thing. Okay, comedy hour is over. Let me flip over here. I got one computer on the YouTube chat room. Mark Dixon's in there. I can hear my headphones over on that other computer making noise, so hopefully that's getting through to Mark. Mark, you let me know if there's any problems with the transmission on YouTube. Somebody in the YouTube chat room, such as Mark Dixon, just post in the chat room. Let me know that everything's working good or that it's not working good. Hi guys, over here in Facebook. How's things? Who we got here? Marcel Eldolfo. How are you, buddy? Michael, Mariana, John M.D. Smith, Louise, Kelly. Who else is Diana? Wow. Ron Armstrong. How are you, brother? Wow, look at all the names on here. Hi, folks. Welcome to the show. It's Friday night. This is my patio. This is my night to just sit and spend a little bit of time letting off some steam. As much as I try and be politically correct and keep things on a fairly even keel Saturdays and Sundays, tonight is my night where, well, like the header to my show says, there's only 2 rules on my patio. Rule number 1, there are no rules. Rule number 2, when in doubt, refer to rule number 1. Okay? There ain't no rules on this patio. If I say something that pisses you off, you have this little thing on your mouse with one finger. You go clickety-click and you get the fuck out of my patio. It ain't a hard thing to comprehend. If I offend you, tough shit. Now that we're through all the legal ramifications of things, how's everybody doing? Happy Friday to you, Rob. Hi, Tracy. Josh, you're right. Where we go one, we go all. And that's one of the first things I want to talk about tonight. Earlier this week, as some of you may know, I do not hesitate to reach out to people, and I reached out to someone and asked them to reach out to someone else. And I had the opportunity to put my name at the top of a list for the organizer of the Yellow Vest. Not the, one of. Let's be fair. There is no one person. However, this gentleman is the current face. Okay? He's the current voice of the French Yellow Vest movement. His name is Roman Knight. You've seen him in the video that I played. If you want me to, ask in either of the chat rooms. I'll pull it back up and play it again tonight. Roman, since his video went out, he has been requested by people all around the world to come and do an interview with them, to do to do what I want to do. Bring him in via Skype, sit down, and let him answer questions that you people have. You know, my shows aren't about me. Anyhow, I've decided to let Roman go and deal with all the pressure that he's getting from everybody else around the world. And when he's not quite so stressed out by everybody going, Roman, come here. And he's got some time to kind of kick back and relax, I'm going to get him to do a Saturday afternoon show with me. Saturday afternoon, probably around 2 o'clock our time here in Ontario. We'll put it somewhere around 8 o'clock his time. He's just outside of Paris. So I know that might not work all that great for some of you. Like 2 o'clock here in Ontario means, 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday out in BC. But I do record all my shows, so if you don't get it, if you're not there for the actual broadcast, I will have it recorded and you come watch it. Now, having said all that, so I'm just going to let Roman go deal with all the other people that want to talk to him and want to take his time. I don't want to spend my time with the guy if he's busy watching the clock going, okay, I got to be online with Australia in 20 minutes. Well, I don't want that. I want you people to be able to have the time to either message me on Facebook and join the show, or message me on Skype and join the show. Or just message us in the chat room. Message me in the chat room. Message Roman in the chat room. I want to give you folks the time to spend with Roman, because it's not about me. You're the ones who have questions to ask the man. So be patient. I will work things out where he's got the time to spend talking to you folks, okay, to all my viewers, because that's who you are. You're just, I told you before in my post, you're the conduit, and the conduit, things flow both ways in a conduit, okay? I put things out there, you people feed it back to me. I read the comments that you put on my posts, on my videos. I read the comments that you post here in the chat during my videos. Yes, Roman lives, who is setting this up? Never heard his name in Yellow Vest. Louise, you need to look into the Yellow Vest movement in France. I could play the video for you. His name is Roman Knight, Night. You can find him here on Facebook. And I don't know which Yellow Vest you are referring to, as there is Yellow Vest Canada, Yellow Vest Edmonton, Yellow Vest Calgary, Yellow Vest Hamilton, Yellow Vest Niagara, Yellow Vest Toronto, Yellow Vest Ottawa. You want me to keep going and going and going and going? I could. The original Yellow Vest movement started in Paris, France, and Roman was one of the original organizers of it. He is now one of the spokespersons for that original group. And he's the man that I was trying hard to get him on here for an interview this weekend. However, as I say, he is really being pressured by other people from all around the world. And I don't want to bring him on just to boost the number of people following me. That's not why I do this. I'm not in this for a popularity fucking contest, okay? I want to bring the man on here when he's got the time to commit the attention to my audience and to my viewers, who I hope are going to grow the cojones and come forward and take the opportunity to speak with the man and find out what this is all about. Because I can tell you right now, Doesn't matter what video you watch, whether it's Roman's video, whether it's the Irish yellow vest video, whether it's the people, the truckers out in Alberta with yellow vests on the grills of their trucks. All these protests boil down to the very same 3 simple fucking words. We the people. Whether it's the right, hi Laureen, whether in France they're calling for referendum initiated by the citizens. Well, here in Canada, that's no different than us wanting the right to recall our politicians. Halfway through their term, they turn around and say, I lied to you to get elected. We got no recourse. We have no way of saying, just a fucking minute, Vern, we want to recall a vote. Well, that's what referendum initiated by the citizen is. It's we the people. What the trucking industry and the oil industry in Alberta and people all across this country are bitching about is we the people. That's what this yellow vest movement is. So it doesn't matter what trivial little issue you want to apply to it. The bottom line of this movement, the bottom line of everything we see as good around the world is awakening behind 3 simple words. We the people. Not fucking persons. People. The other thing, so Roman Knight, an interview with Roman Knight is something I'm working on, but not until the man's got time that he can commit to my audience, because again, it's not about me, it's about you. And I want to make sure you've got the time to spend, or rather, you get the time that you deserve with him. I could do it on Skype without you here, record it and play it back for you. That's just you listening to me. He's not answering your questions. And that's what my shows are about. That's why I bring guests on. And I am going to have somebody join me here on the patio tonight in a little bit. Now, at the end of last year, right before Christmas, I was telling you that this year I have some goals and some, I don't know what the right word would be. I have some I don't know. I don't want to say thought processes. I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to tell you what to think. But in a way I kind of am, because going into this year, I am going to spend time talking to you about how we as patriots need to start thinking. We need to start thinking more like Noah. We need to start thinking more like Lot. But Noah is a pretty good example. And we have to start thinking about what it's going to take for us as human beings. What it's going to take for us to pick and choose who is going to be on our ark. And the even tougher question, who isn't going to be on your ark? Because you can't fit everybody. Just like the lifeboats on the Titanic, they couldn't go back into the water filled with drowning people, because those drowning people trying to save themselves would drown everyone in the lifeboat by swamping the lifeboat. The captain of those lifeboats, just like Noah had to lock the doors of the ark, the captain of those lifeboats on the Titanic had to use guns to keep the sailors from rowing those boats back into a flotilla of drowning humans in order to save the people that were on that tiny little ark. So I'm going to ask you this. Do you have what it takes to put your kids, your wife, your single parent, and your sister in a minivan with a couple of suitcases of clothes and a cooler of food and vacate Toronto? Bug out, as they say. And are you ready to leave your leftist, doesn't believe there's going to be a problem cousin behind? Because think about it. The more people you try to drag along behind you who are fighting against going with you, the more you're stealing the energy needed by the people who really deserve to be saved. Think of it as dealing with an alcoholic. If you've ever had the misfortune, or, as I prefer to think of it, the fortunate experience of helping someone overcome an addiction, you understand what I mean when I tell you you can't force a drunk to be sober. You can't unbrainwash Antifa. You can't unbrainwash NDP. You can't. The guy that I showed you from the video that Ed Jamnisek shot last summer in Markham, when the Asian community was protesting Markham Town Hall, and Unifor and Cupid showed up to scream, no hate, no fear, refugees are welcome here. And that one guy who wouldn't give his name came up to Ed and was videotaping Ed as Ed was videotaping him. And he said to Ed, Ed asked him, what about illegal border crossers? And he turned around and said, nobody's illegal. Is that somebody you want on your ark? Is that the ideology that you want on an ark that's going to be going into the future along with your ark and the precious cargo inside your ark? That's the question you got to ask yourself, Noah. Because that time's coming. The time is coming when you may have to pack up everything you care about, everything that's important to you in this world, possessions and people. And you may have to very quickly decide what stays and what goes. As in what gets left behind and what comes with you. I'm not telling you got to make that list today. But I'm telling you, you better start looking deep inside yourself and figure out whether you've got the guts to make that list. Because getting the guts, getting the spine, getting the commitment that Noah had to lock the doors of the ark while his neighbors banged on it to be saved, finding that, you folks are going to have to do a lot of soul searching. I am. And I've been trying to come to grips with it for 3 or 4 years now. And if you don't think it's coming, I have 5 words for you that announce it like the trumpets of a Roman emperor entering a conquered city. The Islamic Party of Ontario. Say hello to Sharia law. Say hello to your 9-year-old granddaughter being eligible for a Muslim to take her as a bride. Because Sharia law will circumvent, override, be more important, number 1, over our current laws. Don't think it could happen. Duke, you're stupid. You're just a stupid fat old bald fucker. You don't know nothing. Go ahead. Tell a Sikh he's got to wear a motorcycle helmet just like you. Oh, wait. You're already a second-class citizen. So what law that you have to obey are the Sikhs going to be exempt from next? Or will it be 9-year-old child brides for Muslims? Because, hey, that's a cultural thing and our Canadian laws bend and don't apply to different cultures. The same as they apply to every other fucking Canadian. Sorry? No, I'm not. Fuck you. I hope it hurt your feelings. And as for how we determine who you let onto your ark, or who we should be welcoming onto arks at all or into the future, it's not a matter of skin color. Because, hell, I married a ginger and I got 2 ginger daughters. They don't have skin, they have saran wrap. You can see right through them. So, no, it's not and I live with a black chick. But it's great, because when we fight, I tell her, stop hating on me just because I'm white. That usually gets me told to fuck off and ends our argument. It works. No, the filter, if you will, has nothing to do with skin color. And it has nothing whatsoever to do with birthplace. It has to do with what's in here and what's up here. It has to do with a pure heart and the ability of clear thought. Critical, clear thought. Without a good heart, you don't know the difference between good and evil. People with an evil heart, and there's lots of them out there. I'm sure at some point, if you are lucky enough to have lived to the age of 50, I guarantee you at some point in your life, you've crossed paths with someone somewhere who just had that empty, dark look in their eye. You've crossed paths with evil. The smart people, they recognize evil. It's out there. It's out there all around us. They recognize it. And that's the filter that we as patriots have to learn to accept within us. But never accept it completely. Always, always, always question it. Always. Because what you apply as parameters or conditions on this person might be just a little bit different and need to be tweaked for this one. But the bottom line remains the same. We, the people. As long as whoever you're talking to, whatever issue they're focused on or concerned about, if it boils down to the bottom line of we the people, then they're part of the movement. They're marching in the right direction. It's just a tough thing to do, folks. I've been doing it for a couple of years. Christ. Ever since Trump first started talking about running for president, before the campaign ever started, I've had friends, well, I kept saying, if he runs, he'll win. And I've had friends take me off of Facebook, friends that I've had since before Facebook, don't talk to me anymore because of my support for Trump. And as soon as Trudeau got elected, well, that's when I started really getting vocal, and people just disappeared from my world like you wouldn't believe. Except for a few people in my life who, no matter what, they're there, I'm there for them, they're there for me, until they put us in a hole in the ground. I'm lucky to have had friends like that. And a couple of them are lucky like me. We're still alive. Yeah, I'm a pretty lucky bastard that way. Anyhow, I digress. As I say, folks, it takes a lot of soul searching where we patriots are going to be going. And it's something we've got to start psyching ourselves up for. Noah didn't just decide in one day, fuck it, I'm building a boat and everybody can drown. I don't think so. And we are going to have to decide sooner or later. Do I drag a whole city block full of people along with me to wherever I'm going? Or do I take the 5 or 6 loved ones that I care the most about and make sure they're safe? That's called locking your ark. I'm not saying you got to do it now, but you got to start preparing yourself for the day that you might have to. That's a tough pill to swallow, folks, but it's a real one. I hope we don't ever have to swallow it. I really do. But those who aren't ready to and those who aren't prepared for it, them and their loved ones are going to pay for that lack of preparedness. And it's up here that we got to be prepared. Yeah, Wayne Redmond says find high ground. Eunice Miller says, watch the person who can't look you in the eye when they are talking to you. They are hiding something. Yeah, Pat Callahan, the New World Order agendas have already got the justice system and the police. They won't be around afterwards, Pat. I hate to say it, folks, but most of you are probably close enough to my age that you remember in school and, hell, on Movie for a Sunday Afternoon. If you ever watched John Wayne on a Movie for a Sunday Afternoon, I don't know how many, all through the 60s and 70s, it's all you ever saw was World War II movies. Well, I got news for you, folks. Some of that was real footage, and there's not going to be much left. what you saw in those movies, that's what it's going to look like in Toronto, in Hamilton, in Medicine Hat, in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, in Regina, in Vancouver, in Gander, Newfoundland, Corner Brook. I've talked to Canadian political experts about this. And I've asked them point blank, can the cancer be removed without bloodshed? The answer is no. It's coming. The Islamic Party of Ontario. Next step, the Islamic Party of Canada. And don't tell me, oh, well, they have to get a prime minister first. They don't have a fucking prime minister now, and we have M103, don't we, motherfuckers? So, yeah, tell me, they need 51%. You stupid fucks. Oh, I want to bitch slap some people. I'm not sorry. I am sorry, because I'm not trying to get myself all wound up. The other thing we're going to look at, and I'm going to bring Billy Joyce, not tonight. Again, this is going forward into the year. This is something I may get into with Billy Joyce on my Canadian Truthers YouTube channel. In one of his videos, Billy asked a couple of questions, and he was discussing freedoms, and he mentioned the freedom of religion. And he asked a question. What if the beliefs of a religion are completely opposite to the beliefs of the country or the society in which that religion has moved into? Does freedom of religion apply? Or does the society's culture and chosen religion apply? That was a question that Billy asked. And it's those kind of questions that I want to explore with Billy. Because as far as I'm concerned, freedom of religion is great. Keep it inside the walls of your church. Dot, period. End of sentence. Islam cannot separate church and government. It cannot separate church and state. It cannot separate church and law. Over 400 years ago, civilized society separated church and state, church and law. Yes, some of the beliefs, some of the concepts, if you will, of both our government and our laws are based, founded on concepts and beliefs that can be found within a Christian or Judeo-Christian religion. That does not make them religious ideologies. That makes them shared beliefs of a culture, of a society, not 3% of that society. Not ones that wear turbans on their head and say, fuck you and your laws, we're not obeying your laws, we're above them. No, that's not how things work. Sorry, folks, just reading some of the chats here in the YouTube channel. Ariel Skies says, no religion that involves bestiality, pedophilia, stoning, beheading does not belong anywhere. Sorry, Lorene. I'm just working my way. I can only follow so many chats at a time, Lorene. I'm seeing here you unsubscribed to Billy Joyce after he said that, quote, Alberta decided to F Canada, end quote, when he watched a video I recommended to him, meaning she recommended to him, regarding Alberta Brexit or a Brexit. I can't comment on that, Lorraine. I have no idea about the video. Billy could have been reporting on something. He often does videos where he's reporting on someone having commented something. So just because you saw his lips move and the words come out of his mouth, he may have been repeating or reiterating what someone else had said. Not trying to overly defend the guy out of place or anything like that. As I say, I have no way of putting any of what you just said in context outside of this very chat room here on YouTube. Oh, okay. Sorry, folks, on Facebook here. I'm just reading the chat room in YouTube. Ariel Skies says, at Lorene, I too have a problem believing Bernier. Yeah. Yeah, there's been there's been quite a few comments made about me, about my position on Bernier. There's been people who have booted me out of their groups, stopped sharing my videos and posts, removed me from chat groups simply because I'm not jumping on the Max Bernier bandwagon. This weekend, I'm going on YouTube in search of a Max Headroom video, and I want to use it. I don't need these on until I turn Skype on. I want to use it and put together a Max Bernier little 30-second or 1-minute video clip. But I want the part of for those of you that remember how Max Headroom used to come on and it'd be Max Headroom. I want to get that and post it, Photoshop it onto Max Bernier's body. No, I don't hide it. I'm not a fan of any of the fucking politicians. You want me to be a fan of Max Bernier's? Tell the man to give the Queen that finger, then swear his allegiance to the people and the country of Canada, and an oath to enforce and uphold the Criminal Code of Canada. When he does that, I'll support him. I'll support the very first politician that does that. The very first politician that proves to me Canada first. Not the queen of a foreign... That's right. On YouTube, L. Young is saying they are all puppets. You folks in Facebook are missing a good chat there over in the YouTube page. Yeah, well, John Barassa in the Facebook is saying, he's replying to Wayne, yet the Sikhs in government supported M103. Well, of course they do. What don't you people understand? Our justice system, our legal system, our court system works on precedent, okay? The Sikhs succeeded in getting rid of the wide-brimmed hats and being allowed to wear their turban. They succeeded in carrying their, Gurkhas, Derpas, the friggin' daggers that they carry. So our laws for concealed weapons don't apply to them. There's two. Now they don't have to wear motorcycle helmets. There's 3 examples where religion takes precedent over law. Go to Flanders Fields and find me one Canadian flag in Flanders Fields where the guy laying in that, or woman laying in that grave, went there in order to support Sikhs being more important than Canadian law. Show me one of those graves in Flanders Fields where the person laying in that grave went there in order to support the Islamic Party of Ontario putting forth legislation for marrying 9-year-olds, because you know that's what they're going to do. You know damn well that's what they're going to do. And if you don't know it, please click the home button, delete me from your contact list, delete me from your friends list, forget that I ever fucking existed, because if you don't know that that's what Islam is doing, you're too fucking stupid to waste oxygen on. Thank you. Have a nice day. All right. Now, Wayne Redmond, the Gurkhas were fighters. Yeah, they were. Go ask Ron Banerjee. He'll tell you. Somebody's message on YouTube got held for review. That's funny. I didn't know I had filters set. I don't think I do. I'll have to go check that after I'm done streaming. I don't. Let me just check here. No, I can't access it while I'm streaming, but I'm sure I don't have any filters set. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I've got it. He posted sick fuck, and YouTube blocked it. Oops, I just said it. Sorry, YouTube. Hey, YouTube, got a present for you. That was me being an asshole. Barry, I see you in the YouTube chat room, Barry Prince. Let's give you a call, buddy. Oh, you're not even on Skype. Barry, log into Skype, you silly old... Folks, you have to understand, Barry Prince played goalie for years. Well, he still plays goalie. He's an old puck dodger from way back, okay? So, you know, he's taken a couple of pucks to the head. We got to give him a bit of a break, right? You know, got to be nice to the old guy. He's only a couple years older than me, but that's all right. Barry, are you on Skype yet? All right, I don't know where Barry is. I'm looking for him here, watching for him to sign into Skype. He was in the YouTube chat room, but he's not responding to me. I wanted to bring him in. Because last I heard, he has Roman Knight coming on to his radio show. And you know what? While I'm talking to you here, I'm going to bring this up. Barry Prince does a radio show, online radio show. You can find it on the People's Internet, or not the People, peoplesinternetradio.com. Barry's show is called The Big Puzzle. And when I spoke to him earlier this week, he had Roman Knight booked to come on Sunday. Now, don't hold me exactly to this. I haven't spoken or asked Barry about it today, which is why I was hoping he would join me on Skype. But hopefully, everything is still in place, and Roman Knight from the Yellow Vest France movement, where this whole Yellow Vest thing started, he will be on Barry's internet radio show Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So that would be 5 p.m. here in Ontario, 6 p.m. on the East Coast. Am I thinking this right? Man, I've never had to figure out so many friggin' time zones. This internet stuff is just, it's a lot of brain work. What time is it in this side of the country? So yeah, 2 o'clock Sunday is 5 o'clock in Ontario, and 6 o'clock out in the East Coast where Billy Joyce is. So 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's Barry calling in on Skype right now. I may have to put my headphones on. Are you there, buddy?
Can you hear me, dude?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, so.
Then we're jamming, bud. Let me just flip this over here. There we go. I was just telling people about your show for tomorrow.
It's on Sunday, and actually there's been a change. Actually, Sunday I'm going to be having a couple different people on due to the situation beyond some people's control. I got CJ Clayton joining me Sunday, and Glenn Carrick from the Yellow Vest movement here in Canada. The ones behind the convoy that's being formulated in Alberta and going to be heading east. Those gentlemen are going to be joining me on Sunday, Duke. There's a change of plans.
Okay.
So that's my show this Sunday.
Okay. Right on. I noticed in the Yellow Vest Canada Facebook page, I noticed that there's a calendar and schedule for a convoy heading from Alberta right straight through to Ottawa. Scheduled to arrive in Ottawa February 19th.
That's what's being organized, and the funding pages for some of these groups right now, one group has hit $70,000 in funding, and also an emergency fund being set up for truckers. There's some other things that were shared to me with today, Duke, of some corporate people that are going to get involved, but I can't say anything right now. But there's some people getting involved with it, so any mechanism right now that serves as a way to wake people up to really what's going on in our country, I'll support. There's lots of pros and cons to this movement. I kind of spoke this way many times about not getting violent in these movements and trying to restrict any kind of violence, because that's exactly what they'll use against us if we get into those kind of situations. But I'm going to support the movement. There's things I like about it, a few things I don't. But you know what? Right now at this point, we've got to use every tool in the toolbox to get people aware of what's going on in our country. So
yeah. Basically, I tell people, you remember the movie Ben-Hur, when they put him in the galley of a Roman ship and all he did was pull on an oar? Well, that's all any of us are doing, so just shut up and keep pulling on the oar. Really, that's all, that's all I can do, is just keep pulling on whatever the hell oar is in front of me today.
Well, there's thousands of us out there right now, dude, that are involved, and we're all doing it for the same reason. And the encouraging thing is that I see those numbers growing. I see a change in people's thinking. Even in little communities up here where we're not seeing the effects that you're seeing in big cities in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. We're really starting to see the problems. People are becoming aware. And
you won't see. I'll tell you right now, Barry. You won't see it in urbanites.
Well, I know that.
And it's because they're the Kool-Aid drinking, come live in the city with everyone, sell your car, take the TTC, live off society because society gives you everything. Like, free thinking does not exist in big cities. I hate to say it, but all you got to do is look at go look at the society of any sanctuary city from California to Toronto, and it's all the same.
Well, they're walking down the streets wondering if somebody's going to turn around and shoot them. You know.
Well, no, the critical thinkers are the no hate, no fear, refugees are welcome here, open borders, everyone loves everyone. Those idiots, they have no idea that somebody's walking up behind them about to stab them or shoot them. They think the whole fucking world loves them because they're stupid and they love the whole world. They don't realize that the people they're trying to hug are going to stab them as they hug them.
Somebody's telling me to turn up my volume. Are you hearing me okay, dude?
I can hear you okay.
Chat was saying
Oh.
on my end. I could put it in my headphones, but I don't need to now because this camera picks up
What?
my
Okay, for some reason it's not picking up the audio now.
Okay, well I'll turn on my
No.
Does that work?
Hang on, let me keep trying something here. Okay. Why is that not working? Okay. In the YouTube chat room, can you folks hear Barry Prince when he's talking? All right, now Barry's turned on his cam. Try it now, Barry. Say hello.
Can you hear me?
I'm not getting an audio signal here on OBS.
Oh shit.
Yeah, just don't go changing anything on your end. Just hang on.
Okay.
Why is it not? Huh. Check. Try now. No, still nothing. They're saying it's very low, Barry. And I don't know why. I've got everything set as high as it'll go here. Let me come back to Skype.
I just turned my microphone up a little bit. Does that sound any better? I'm asking people in chat because I'm watching there right now.
Which chat are you watching?
I'm in Facebook.
You're in Facebook.
Yeah, I'm in both actually, but I'm in Facebook right now.
Facebook, can you guys hear Barry? Dan Dubois, can you hear Barry Prince? Barry, just give us another 3 count or whatever.
Happy trails to you. How's that? No? I switched to my headset, Duke.
Yeah, I don't know why this... Ed is telling me that I need to switch to the headset. Well, guess what, Ed? My headset is working, and I don't know why Skype is coming through on my speakers like it shouldn't be. And I don't know how to change it.
This sucks. Every time I get on here, something goes wrong. Maybe they don't like us talking, Duke. And now I don't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here, Barry. Barry, just hang tight for a minute, okay?
Okay.
There. Okay, now.
Just turn my scope up to you. Well, I've got everything here set at max, so.
All right, hang on. I'm just checking outputs.
Oh, I'm hearing you really good, Duke.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out video settings.
Okay, get up there.
All right, now I come back to this screen on OBS. Aha! Now we have audio showing good. Okay. Okay, I think I've got it sorted out.
They're telling me I'm blasting now. I can turn my volume down if it's up too high.
Yeah, you could turn it down a bit, Barry. Whoa. Oop, that's just... Yeah, that's good there. I can bring them down here, folks. I also have control here, so I'll bring Barry down a little bit, and I'll back mine down a bit so I'm not blasting you away. It's the only thing I don't like about this system, ladies and gentlemen, is that I can't hear what you're hearing. I hear what my system is sending out, but I can't hear what's actually going out over this. Like, it's hard to describe because I know what my computer sends out, but I don't know how much of it or how well it actually gets to you. I don't know that until after the show when I go back and listen to the video, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I could hear Barry in my headphones while this was recording, but I can't hear him on the video. And I have no way of knowing whether or not you folks can hear him until afterwards. So I count on you to keep me informed of what the actual production is like.
I think we're all good now. Sounds like I'm being heard in chat. So.
Ron Armstrong says we need more cowbell. Now you sound like a buddy of mine who's got a blues band, actually one of the bands that I play.
One of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow night on your show, Duke, is something we talked about earlier. And when you first 20 minutes of your show there tonight, I wasn't listening exactly what you were saying. I was sitting in chat there, but I was actually talking to another guy down in California who is very, very well connected in American intelligence. And what we're going to talk about tomorrow night, folks, you're going to have to tune in and listen to what Roger's going to tell you tomorrow night about something very, very interesting that's developing very quickly. And that, of course, is, you wouldn't believe it, some more corruption being exposed about our fearless leader.
No!
So, yeah, can you believe that? I mean, I don't know if CBC is going to cover the show tomorrow night, but I think they should, and I think it should be blasted out to every Canadian coast to coast. But then this information is getting out there right now. We see some of the information and some of the intelligence reports that are going absolutely viral right now on the internet. Talking about Tom Quiggin and other people that are really starting to bring forward some pretty powerful stuff.
Oh, have you? And, do you follow Tom Quiggin on Twitter?
All the time.
Oh, the stuff he's been throwing out. He's been throwing out hard hitting.
Here's another wrench to throw into the formula right now, that hackers are releasing some incredibly damning previously unreleased information about 9/11. They've got now. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this because I've heard it. I actually talked to guys in California about this. That's who I was talking to before we came on here. That's one of the things I quizzed him about because he's another gentleman I respect for fairly accurate information. And he's looking into this, but he says there's credence to it. So that's all I can get at this point.
Credence to what?
The story. Okay. That's all I can elaborate. I can't get to the bottom of it yet, but there's all kinds of things all of a sudden seem to be coming out here. I don't know if it's designed to throw complete chaos or what, Duke. They're get us going in a million different directions, looking at a million different issues. What's the purpose? But this is another thing that was brought to my attention today.
What, distraction?
No, some of this stuff I'm hearing about going on is down in the States.
So lots of stuff going on down there, man. Lots. It's hard to keep up with it. I can't elaborate on some of the things, but lots of stuff going on. So tomorrow night, Roger's going to bring some stuff up. I think your audience is really going to like to hear. That's all I can say. But he's going to bring a good show tomorrow night. So tune in, guys.
Yeah, that was something I was actually, you just confirmed it for me before I brought you on, and that was something I was going to let the people know tonight, is that tomorrow night on Politically Speaking, I've had him on my show before. He and I have talked several times. Barry's had him on his radio show a bunch of times. Tomorrow night, Roger Landry is coming to join my show, Liberty Beacon Network. Liberty Beacon Network is Roger's site, libertybeacon.com, I believe it. Isn't it, Barry?
Yep.
Yeah, libertybeacon.com. Today I asked Barry if he would get a hold of Roger. I want to talk to Roger about sealed indictments and the international validity of these sealed indictments. And Stephen, I see Stephen Myatt just popped into the chat room here in Facebook a few minutes ago. Stephen, that might be a show that you could watch or should watch tomorrow night. Regarding Roger Landry and the reach attainable internationally through U.S. indictments. I think Roger will do a better job of explaining it than I will, but basically, under international law, an indictment for a treasonous act against a citizen of a foreign country is enforceable by the U.S. against foreign politicians, foreign citizens. International law would step up and say, yes, the U.S. has every right to take them out of your country, including Justin Trudeau.
Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't it be cool to see Justin walk out of the House of Commons in handcuffs, guys?
Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
I would love
to be cool. That would be cool, but realistically, we know
I
that's
would
not going to
love
happen.
to see Climate Barbie. Yeah. Here's your one-way trip to Gitmo. But now, see, what prompted me to do all this in the past, well, today's what, the 4th? So for about 8 days now, I've been watching 8chan, and I've been paying attention to a few other off mainstream internet chat rooms, and there's a lot of talk about how silent certain people's Twitter accounts have been since the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th of December. Hillary Clinton, in particular, hasn't posted a tweet since December 28th. Neither has her number one assistant, which is Field McConnell's sister. I forget her name. I just watched the video this afternoon, too, and I forget her name now. That's terrible of me. But yeah, there's like, the Anons are putting out a list of, it bounces between 6 and 9 people whose tweets have gone from like 3, 4, 5, 10 a day, nothing. Just cut right off, cease to exist. And Hillary Clinton is one of them.
Well, we all know, Duke. I think we all know something's going to happen. We just can't exactly put our finger on it. We've got lots of different theories and lots of different ideas.
Oh, yeah.
We all know that something's going to happen. That some event's going to happen.
We all know the magician is. We all know the magician is going to pull a rabbit out of his hat. It's nature to want to try and figure out which hand and how big and what color the rabbit's going to be.
Or better still, when he does pull that rabbit out, be ready for the effect on society.
Oh.
Society wasn't ready for 9/11. They were not ready for that in any shape or form. Well, if the next false flag perpetrated is bigger than 9/11, how is society going to work? And it doesn't have to be a violent false flag. It could be an attack on our economy. And we've talked about that many times, Duke, that could turn our world basically upside down in 48 hours, put society into a complete state of chaos in a couple days. And that's the reality that we live in because our money's controlled. So false flags can come in many, many different forms. And something, we're putting their backs up against the wall right now. We see the whole world waking up to the corruption and many, many different groups getting involved in many different ways. And the more we put their backs up against the wall, the more they're going to come out swinging. They got some toys put away for this particular time, buddy. We've talked about that before, too. Yeah. So we're in interesting times. 2019 is going to be a crazy year. Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Put on your tinfoil hat.
Yeah, that's it, buddy. Because if we get... Well, I'm going to all wear mine because if we ever got struck by a meteor, buddy, I'd have some kind of protection on my brain, right?
Yeah.
And what are you saying about goalies? Were you telling people that goalies are mentally deficient or something? Is that what you were saying?
That what?
Goalies are mentally deficient? That there's something wrong in a goalie's brain? Are you saying that?
No.
Are you saying that on radio? Okay.
No.
I heard that, Eddie.
Your microphone is breaking up. I don't know what you're doing there, but no. What I said was not goalies are mentally deficient, that you personally have taken too many pucks to the head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. I've had multiple.
Hey, I think I told you about now I've told you that my old man played in the Barrie Flyers in the Memorial Cup with Don Cherry. Okay, he played hockey, junior hockey, back in the late 40s, early 50s. Turned semi-pro with Don Cherry, but back when he was playing, goalies didn't wear face shields or nobody wore helmets. Okay,
Crazy.
And I forget the name of the goalie. But he told me that he watched a goalie who was down on all four sit up and purposely throw himself up so his head stopped the puck.
Well, there's a goalie with balls, I'll tell you. I can't even visualize playing the game without a helmet because the blast I've taken in my face over the years would have killed you.
Well, think about it back. Everybody knows Don Cherry. I'm sitting here right now looking at a picture on my wall. In fact, I'll tell you what, because people can see it. I'm going to go get it. It's right here.
I'll tell you something, Duke. If you look at the videos...
Hang on a second. Let me get my headphones back on. Okay. This picture... Which camera am I using here? That one up there. This picture is from 1951 in Barrie, Ontario. Oops. That big guy, that's my dad, Ralph Willis. He played defense. On the other end of the blue line, that little guy, that's Don Cherry. And you folks can go look. You can go Google it if you want. Memorial Cup, Barrie Flyers, 51, 52, 53, 54. 2 years in a row, they won the Memorial Cup. The same team. 2 years in a row. The 1 year they won it out, I think they were in Calgary when they won it. And, yeah, there's a whole story about that, but we're not going to get into headline newspaper pictures of my uncle, and, well, that's a family story we won't get into. But, yeah, back in the day, that's how they played. You notice, no helmets. No helmets. They were, those two guys, they're the same age. My dad just turned 86 a couple of weeks ago, December 20th. And him and Don Cherry are the same age. No helmets, whatsoever. They didn't even wear teeth guards, the plastic bite guards that you guys wear, Barry. They didn't have that.
Right. The game back in the 40s and 50s, Duke, if you look at videos, anybody studies videos of the game back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, they had a hard time getting the puck up to the crossbar. We didn't have the speed, we didn't have the technology, we didn't have the shots we have now.
No.
And goalies, sure, the odd one got, if you really want to see a goalie that took it a lot, Ron was saying in chat there that conversely, the guy was 5'9" or 5'8", or even, maybe I think he was even smaller than that. He was tiny. So his head was down at the puck level all the time. And then you got Johnny Barr and all these goalies. They played without helmets and masks, but they lived because the game was so much slower. The sticks were straight. It's just totally different game back then. I think if you studied the speed in the game alone, the overall speed since 1960, one stat I was reading, the game's speed has increased about 33% in speed since 1960, just the speed on the ice because of all the technology changes. So today, man, if you were to go in a game without a mask, you'd be committing suicide. You'd have your head taken off.
Yeah.
So my mask is my best part of my jock is my best part of my equipment. There's two things you got to protect, buddy. But anyways, getting away from hockey. Hockey's something we all love, and we've all grown up with it. It's part of our heritage. It's part of our blood, man.
You just got a text message.
Who's interrupting my show? A viewer or one of my kids?
I don't know.
Somebody's telling me volume is too low. People cannot hear the show. Whose volume is too low? My volume? Because we've just been getting messages in the chat room that it's too loud.
We're up, we're down.
Maybe it's on YouTube. Let's go see what YouTube has to say. Oh, John Barrett is telling me my mic is too far away. Well, that figures. Remember I was saying the other night that I really need a boom-mounted microphone, because this mic, if I move it over here, you guys can hardly hear me. I move it over here, and you can hear me great. But it's like, look at it. I can't have that in front of my face.
Well, I guess we got to stop going and getting $19 microphones and headsets, eh?
Well, the microphone on my headset really sucks. It sounds like I'm talking in a tin can.
Well, they don't sound that bad, but I know a good microphone makes a big difference. But to get a good mic setup, you need to spend $150.
Yep. That's almost exactly what I'm looking at, is about $115 for the microphone and about $45 to $50 for a boom.
So sometime in July, though, you're going to have to buy me a coffee, Duke.
Yeah, you're coming to Ontario, eh, old man?
Yeah, July 17th. I'm going to fly into London, Ontario, and I'm going to spend a couple days with my family, who I haven't seen in quite a few years now, and I'm going to be all over the place. I've got relatives in Toronto. I'm going to be going up to Ottawa for the rally on the 20th. I've got relatives up in Pembroke. All kinds of things I want to do. I think I'm going to be there for about 10 days is what I'm planning.
Wow.
So lots of time to get together and meet all my brothers and sisters back there that are getting involved and standing up against this bullshit we see going on, which I'm looking forward to.
Right on.
So it should be fun. Maybe we can do a show together, Duke. Live from Duke's basement.
Yeah, you want to come over?
Well, what do you think, buddy? I've been waiting for the invite. Come on. You think I'm flying all the way from fucking British Columbia to Ontario?
Well,
I'm
you're
not going to
busy
come over and say
telling me
hello.
you got this family to see and that family to see.
Well, I got
I'm
lots of
thinking,
people to
if worse
see.
comes to worse, I'll shake his hands in Ottawa.
Well, buddy, I got my roots are in Ontario, so I got all kinds of relatives back there.
Yeah, I
can't-
know. You went to school.
I can't.
You grew up in Toronto.
Yeah, I went to Kipling Collegiate, West End of Toronto. Actually lived in Rochdale College at one time, back in the day.
No, it's Rochdale.
You've heard about it.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah,
Rochdale, man.
I was on the 14th floor there for about 4 months of my life. Funny thing about Rochdale. The funny thing about us now is that if you wanted to fucking get any drugs in Toronto, excuse my language, if you wanted to get any drugs in Toronto, just hang around there until the fire alarms go off. Because the fire alarm is being raided. And all you have to do is stand down in the street and grab the packages and run, because the cops can't get you all.
Exactly.
Put drain set up in the toilet system, and you'll get lots, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. And that place got raided just about every day.
Well, didn't they just have the cops there all the time and just take coffee break? All right, we'll be back in 20 minutes, and they start the raid all over again.
It was quite a popular place in Toronto, that's for sure. That was back in the crazy days.
Yeah. And then from there, it shifted over to Regent Park.
I was at a Guess Who concert in Toronto when they burned the American flag. Burton Cummings burned the American flag, singing "American Woman." And I'll tell you, you must remember that?
Yeah.
The international news, man. Burton Cummings burning the American flag, singing "American Woman." I'll never forget that.
It was fun times, dude.
It was crazy times back then, buddy. You didn't have to worry about walking the streets. I could go anywhere in Toronto when I was growing up and feel safe. I mean, I never felt like I was in danger anytime. And I was everywhere in Toronto growing up. And my parents didn't worry about us running the streets. Didn't worry if we were 2 blocks away from the house, because the neighbors were looking after each other. But that's all been taken out of society now.
Yep.
People are scared to let kids go out of the yard, and if they do, they get charged by family services for neglect. I mean, things have just been completely turned upside down. I remember my childhood really well, and it was fun. And now I couldn't visualize growing up or raising a child in Toronto.
Cool.
I mean, what the heck? Where's it going?
And dude, it's not just Toronto anymore.
It's everywhere.
They've taken that mentality all the way around the Golden Horseshoe. Proof of that is in 3 NDP ridings here in the provincial election right in Niagara. St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, and Niagara South. 3 of the biggest populated ridings in the Niagara Peninsula. All 3 of them went NDP.
Wow.
Just like Toronto. If they have their way, they'll turn the whole Niagara region into a sanctuary region. And if they do, I'm taking my family and I'm moving my family way the frig up north, and I'm coming back down here with guns. It's time to just start flushing the toilet. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, you can call me a warmonger if you want, but if I was looking at zombies walking towards me, I'd put a bullet in every one of their heads. If I was looking at people who had a big I tattooed on their forehead standing for infected with the zombie disease, just waiting for it to take effect, I would put a bullet in their head as well.
Well, now you better have lots of bullets.
Oh, hey, I got more ammo than, okay, I was going to say more ammo than anybody I know, but my buddy Randy's got more ammo than anybody almost more ammo than anybody I know.
We've had this conversation many, many times.
Yeah,
Duke,
I know.
And we don't share the same opinion on it. But
no, I know you're of the opinion that the illegal governments are just going to use space-mounted rays and kill us all and trigger earthquakes and blow up nuclear plants. And
come on, get out of here! Don't get crazy on me now, buddy. I haven't gone down that road ever with you. I just look at things a little bit differently.
No, you don't go down the rabbit hole. You just stand there at the top of it, point at it, and say, "Look down in there, Duke."
Is there anything wrong with that?
Because every once in a while you reach out and give me a little fucking push on the back, and down the hole I go, you crazy bastard.
Yeah, I always give you a parachute and a rope, okay, so that you climb back out again.
Yeah, last time it was a handkerchief and a thread.
I didn't have any rope, buddy. I had the handkerchief in my pocket. What the heck? I thought it was a pretty good, kind of like spur of the moment thought, buddy. I know. Anyways, but all joking aside, if you do go down the rabbit holes, take a GPS with you, because you'll get lost. Because
No,
you'll find another
no,
connecting and
no.
find 4 or 5
The
connecting.
Anons, the
Or you did.
Anons, the
I've been
Anons taught
watching,
me.
buddy.
The
I told you.
Anons, the Anons in 8chan, they taught me, don't take a GPS, take a shovel and dig lateral tunnels until you connect with another one, and then go down and across and back and over and this way and that way and over here and that way and over there and that way and down here and over there and lateral and this way. And oh yeah, there was a rabbit hole somewhere.
Well, we know they're all connected, buddy.
Yep.
And if you get down there, you'll get lost. So, caution.
So I can't wait to take a peek inside Roger's brain on all this tomorrow.
No, Roger's a good guy. I've known him for about 5 years of my life now, and I've done probably 50 shows. I was actually doing shows with him together for a couple of years on his network, and got to know the man real well over the last 5 years. And I've never been able to debunk anything he's told me so far. And I have looked into stuff that he's told me, because some of the stuff he's told me I couldn't believe. Until I started looking into it, and I went, hang on. The guy was telling me the truth. So anyways, I speak loud for the guy, because I believe he's a very credible source. And tune in. Have a listen, guys.
Yeah,
but we are going to talk
absolutely.
about these indictments. He's going to reveal a few things tomorrow night. We're all looking for a way to get massive changes done in our governments, and we know the system right now isn't working for the people. None of the political systems will ever work for the people, but we're talking about some pretty serious stuff right now. If these indictments are unsealed and world leaders are rounded up and taken to military tribunals and tried, you're going to see a real shakeup in society, dude. And that's something we should talk about a little bit, because the effects. I don't think people really understand the effects of a scenario like this. A scenario like this being played out, and that's something we're going to talk about tomorrow night. Believe it or not, the repercussions of possibilities of things to come.
Yeah, like what?
We got to prepare people.
What are people? Ed Jamnisik, okay, the guy from the Markham rally who said, "No, I work for Unifor." What are people like him? What are people like all the CAW workers in Oshawa gonna do when they realize that the organization, the union, that they've been paying all their dues into and thinking the union is there for them and going to help them, what are they going to do when they find out that the union is just as corrupt as the government that's going to jail? I guarantee you there are going to be big name members of labor unions in the U.S. who are among those indicted.
If I think, really, Duke, if people realized how deep and wide the roots are and how many people are actually going to be involved, it would shake people. It's really, really hard to wrap your mind around how many people are involved in the deep state. It really is. But
50% of the population is involved in one way or another.
So we're talking civil war. We're talking about a disruption in society that's going to justify the implementation of martial law in the United States of America. And that is something that, believe it or not, terrifies me, Duke, because when you take one man and give him unprecedented, undeniable, unequivocal, unstoppable power, what is to say that in history this has happened? What's to say that that person has a change of heart overnight and everything changes the next day when you hear him talking? And what can you do about it? So those are things that I think about a lot, and I see a lot of that possibly being set up right now. So we got to make people aware of the different scenarios that could unfold and how the brain is going to happen.
I've told you before that it was cried out in 1776 and in every war since then. Well, actually, long before 1776. How accurate and truthful it is, I don't know, but we all heard it screamed by Mel Gibson in the movie Braveheart. Freedom. That's what men go to war for, or at least what they believe they go to war for. And I got news for you. What you're seeing in these movements, Barry, these yellow vests, these patriots that are going out and protesting on street corners, people like you, people like me, people like Ed Jamnisek, Randy Gleave, John Barassa, okay? What you're seeing here are the people who aren't doing this for a hidden agenda or because they're part of an organized military. These are we, the people. These are David standing up to Goliath. That's who we, the people, are, Barry. We're David standing up to Goliath.
Well, Duke, you know and I know once you've start to realize exactly what's going on in this country, and you have a heart and you have a feeling of loyalty of any kind to your family and to the future, you have to get involved and there's no turning back. Once you're involved, you don't turn your back on it. You just don't. It doesn't matter at this point what happens to you or me in the future. What's important right now is that we try and reach the hearts of people that still can be reached. And you say, yeah, I know we talk about the arc, we talk about turning our backs on people that aren't going to be reached, but I see every day people's hearts changing, that they're actually starting to realize that this is something that's very, very evil and very, very nefarious, and it's going to affect their children and their future. And when, you know what, when a person's heart is touched, they react in a pretty predictable way. And we as human beings on this planet, the way I see it, when it really gets down to it, you know, we all have a love for our family and our children. We have a love for what we've grown up with, the opportunities, the so-called perceived freedoms that we have in this country. But now we're looking at something that is a direct threat to your children. And that touches people's hearts, Duke. It really does. When people realize that, you'll see them spark into action. So really, to me, I try and reach people's hearts. What else have we got right now? What else have we really got but to sit down with our friends and our neighbors, look them in the eye, and if you shed a tear once in a while when you start talking, so be it. Because if this stuff that's going on in our country right now, if that doesn't tear you to pieces and doesn't bring tears to your eyes, then I don't think you have a heart, but we all do. I think there's many, many people out there right now that are sitting on the fence, that are going, wow, I know there's something really bad, but you know what? Those guys over there, they'll take care of it. We've got to get that mindset out of people's minds and get them to realize that this is something that they're obligated to address. And I see that change coming, Duke. I do. My thought. I'll shut up. I'll shut up for a minute. I've been eating cookies tonight, Duke. I was playing hockey today, and I couldn't help it. I went into the cookie jar. So if I'm babbling, Betty, just let me know. Oh, man, does it kill the pain in your body? Like, I'm 64. When I play hockey, I love it, but I pay for it afterwards. I come home, and these cookies are looking me in the eye, and I know if I eat one, I'm not going to feel any pain, but my mind might get a little wandering. So if I'm wandering, let me know.
Well, Barry, I appreciate your perspective that people are still just waking up. But at the same time, I can't help but point out we need to stop worrying about people waking up. We need to stop.
Not so much waking up, it's a waking of the heart, Duke. Most people are awake. Most people in Canada right now know that there's something really evil going on in our government. They have to know that. There's no denying it. It's in your face. There's no hiding the agenda. It's how they're handling it. And that's the one thing I think we can change. That's the one thing I think we can change. I do. I hold on to that belief. Because if we can't, then we're really in trouble.
But that's Barry, that's exactly what I try and point out to you and to everyone else. Noah knew you can't change them. Lot finally had to accept you can't change them. Once they've drank the zombie Kool-Aid, the infection is in there, and that's it. And if they aren't awake by now, it's because they don't want to be, Barry. It's because the infection is in there a little bit, Maybe the Kool-Aid was in the water.
Well, we'll just have to see what happens, Duke. But I am seeing a change in people myself, personally. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And if it can happen to people that I see around me, it can happen to anybody. And I am seeing a change in people's hearts. So that's something I'll just keep working on, because really, buddy, it's the most important thing is your connection with your friends and neighbors right now. It's probably the most important thing you can do. And we're so divided as a society. Yes, most people out there are listening to this show tonight, if they know their neighbor, and they'll say no. Well, that's a big change from when I grew up, buddy.
You want a perfect example of what our society has come to? The house that I'm in right now, we just moved here about a year. Ed Jamnisek is calling, and no, Ed, I'm not going to take your call. The house that we just moved into, we've been here about a year and a half, 2 years now. And on both sides of me are seniors, okay? On the one side is a husband and wife. On the other side, he's a widower, sorry. The husband and wife, Tony, next door to me, and they're both my neighbors are retired English plumbers, ironically enough. Tony was out working in his backyard one day, and his wife has MS, so she's not physically capable of helping him. And he was out there working, cleaning up brush and stuff, and I was out in my backyard. I saw him with his wheelbarrow and stuff. I said, hey, if you need a hand with that, just let me know. And he waved. He said, no, it's all right. I got it. Keeps me busy. A couple days later, he comes to me. He says, I've lived here 12 years, and you're the first person anywhere up and down this street that's ever offered me any kind of help. And I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, what the fuck does that say about our society? When a nasty, miserable, antisocial asshole like me is the first person to offer a neighbor help of any kind in a dozen years that the guy's lived here? What the fuck?
Steven, why don't you join the call for 10 minutes? I know you're out there in chat. I would love to talk to you. I haven't talked to you for a while, bud. Would you take a call from Steven?
Yeah, all right. And Ed, if you want to call back now, Ed, you can. But right then, I just didn't want to take the call. I wanted to finish that conversation.
Oh, we still got a little bit of time. You're good for another 20 minutes, yeah? I know at 11 o'clock you turn into a bit of a Grinch, but you've got 20 minutes to go.
I don't have to work tomorrow, and, no, we're not staying up all night. You just take advantage of the time difference, that's all.
The guys in the dressing room must think I'm nuts, Duke. They must.
The rest of us do.
Well, they do. They think I'm crazy in the dressing room, but they're listening. Because I always start talking politics when I'm in there. I bring up a conversation, a news article. And I always have my t-shirt on. They're all dirty. I had to get them in the wash today.
Hi, Ed.
How's it going, Duke? How's my sound level?
There's some background noise, but your voice is pretty good.
Okay, turn down. You gotta turn down the gain either on you or Barry. Barry's blaring. You're a little bit on the low side.
Okay, well, I can't do anything about mine except move in closer to the microphone.
I'm sure that'll be better. And if you turn the gain down on Barry's just maybe 10%.
I turned it down now. Is that better?
That's a little bit better, yeah.
Good.
I can go down a little bit more.
No, don't. You should be good. Check the chat.
How's that?
That's good.
Okay.
Anyways, I was listening to you guys earlier, and as far as people get involved, what I've been coming up against is people still think they're only one person. The system's too big. Everyone thinks they're a peon. They can't have an effective change. Well, let me tell you, you look at all the yellow vests.
First of all, Ed, you have to recognize that as the government-installed brainwashing that's been going on for generations. It's no different than the, fuck it, I don't bother voting because my vote don't count for shit anyhow mentality, okay? The government creates the environment that breeds that I'm only one, it doesn't matter. mentality.
Totally agree with you, Duke, and we got to change that.
Yep.
And that's what's at the core of the Yellow Vest movement in France.
To quote,
I had the luxury of speaking with Roman Light a few days ago, and he's concerned with what the mainstream media and what a lot of alternative media is doing, and everything you see, it's sensationalized. You got cops, and they're well, you see in the scene where the cops were on two motorcycles, and the people came and they actually tried rushing the cops.
What, that video from France?
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
you know what,
that's
actually,
like a week old. That's old.
What you didn't see is that those cops were throwing grenades, and one of the protesters went and actually took those grenades and tried to lob it back, and he blew his hand off. Now, they weren't the World War II grenades that like killed hundreds of people, but the damn thing exploded, took the guy's hand off, and that's why the crowd got upset and rushed the cops. Just those two cops.
Yeah.
Not all the cops are doing that. The other thing Roman's concerned about is you got Antifas and you got paid protesters and you got, be it Secret Service or other people that are being paid to cause shit to make the Yellow Vests look like they're a bunch of assholes that are trashing the place.
Yeah.
And putting up these barricades. That's going on. And Yellow Vest has always been, we will not tolerate any kind of violence whatsoever.
Okay.
We will not destroy property.
Okay. People don't seem to understand this because the only time, Ed, you're a perfect example. Barry, you've never even dealt with Antifa, okay? But Ed, you're a perfect example, and so are all the people you've ever seen at rallies, at Al Quds Day, at Ottawa, anywhere where the police have barricades. That's a controlled environment. There were no barricades. There were no police in Niagara Falls. None of you people know what it's like to have 30 of these Antifa swarm you. You don't know what it's like. Honest, you people don't know what it's like thinking to yourself, okay, do I stuff my thumb into this girl's eyeball? Because you know it's a girl behind the mask. You can see the ponytail, okay? Do I stuff my thumb into her eyeball because the guy behind her is reaching through trying to grab my beard? That's what goes through your head when you're stuffed, crammed with Antifa, 20 to 30 of them around you, literally pushed right up against you like this, with their university professor beside them yelling, "Push with your bodies, not your hands. It's not assault if you use your bodies." And they're throwing water bottles like this, full, sealed, through the crowd at you in the middle of this crowd with 20 people all pushing in against you, nowhere to go. That's Antifa, ladies and gentlemen, and you better fucking get used to it because they're going to get a lot worse.
Well, August 11th was a great example of that. The cops couldn't even control them, and a week and a half ago in Kingston, Antifa were pulling the same shit. And unfortunately, we were standing our ground. I think that got them even more upset.
Yeah, well, you people better get ready because this ain't gonna be friggin' Kitty's Day at the X. You're all old enough to remember in grade school watching the movies about World War II and Germany and what it was like when Hitler's Nazis took over in Germany. You're all old enough to have gone to school when that stuff was still being taught in school. That's what's coming here, ladies and gentlemen. The stuff we watched in grade school as kids with Hitler Youth Group running around, that's what we're looking at coming here. That's today's Antifa. Okay? Yeah, Stephen, you remember Face It Off with me. Yeah, and that was here in February. That was mellow. Niagara Falls back in September when my buddy Randy Gleave, he might still be in the chat room. Randy Gleave, there was about 150 Antifa bust in from Ryerson and U of T in Niagara Falls, September 30th, 2017. Randy rode his Harley right through, up onto the sidewalk in front of the casino and rode right through the crowd after they broke signboards over his head and his back as he was going down the road. We had lots of fun with them. But most of you people have no idea. You haven't dealt face to face. Go watch the video. In fact, my video, 2018 in review, or go watch Rick Boswick's video of the December 8 rally in Ottawa. Go watch Antifa pushing against the cops. They know the guy up front doesn't push the cop. There's a cop face to face with Antifa. People behind the guy in the front are pushing. So the guy in front isn't doing anything wrong. He's standing there with his arms like this, but he's being pushed forward by the people behind him, and the cop is taking the beating of it. That's how they've been trained. They're taught to do that. You've seen it, Ed.
Yep, see it all the time. But cops are usually, they're fine with the Patriots. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, oh, I know. Yeah. Steven, you're in the chat room, buddy. You want to pop on with Skype for a minute? Feel free. Yeah, the cops are actually pretty decent. They're pretty decent. And if you go watch the videos, from all around the world, you'll see that for the most part, the cops are pretty decent with the yellow vesters too.
Okay, here's the thing though, to keep it decent, the number one thing about this yellow vest movement, and it's at the core, it's not about race, it's not about religion, it's not about skin color, it's not about economic class. It's all about we the people, and by that they mean we the people want to take the power back. The government's got to serve us or work for us, not the other way around.
Yeah.
The only way we can achieve that is if we get a referendum initiated by citizens. That's why you see the RIC logo on the yellow vest movement in France.
Yeah,
but you don't see that
referendum
in the
initiated by the citizens.
Yeah. Now, once we get the right
Ed,
to have
what was
these
that? If
forced
you don't see
referendums-
that, what was that you said? If you don't see the RIC?
Yeah, then it's not a real yellow vest.
Right.
Now we got to keep ourselves. We got to police ourselves. If tomorrow, I'm going down to the Nathan Phillips Square, bringing a can of red spray paint. If there's any yellow vest steps out of line, I'm gonna paint the bastard because he's not part of us.
Yep. Exactly.
They're gonna try to. They're gonna try to infiltrate us.
It's time
They're gonna
to
try
grow
to make
some
us look
fucking
bad.
balls, people.
Yep, they're going to try and infiltrate violence inside the movement, and the mainstream media will be all over it.
Now, if the asshole that caused the trouble's got a big red X on his yellow vest, what does that tell you?
Good idea, Ed.
Yeah. And again, with his truck thing, Roman's caught wind of what's happening here in Canada, and he wants to help out. And he wants to help out a little bit. That's why he's going to do a few interviews here and there. He's pretty busy still in France. One of their main guys got arrested again.
Yeah,
Apparently,
the main guy.
for some kind of weapons issue. Don't worry about it. Those guys have got over 100 euro banked already for their defense. So they got it under control. They're doing a good job organizing it.
Okay,
Because
hang on a minute here, Ed. Are you following the Facebook chat? Steven,
No,
you're
I'm
not
not.
paying attention. Steven, you're misunderstanding things here. RIC stands for Referendum Initiated by the Citizens. It's not under whose authority? By the citizens' authority. What part of referendum initiated by the citizens don't you understand or makes you think someone needs to authorize it? If a certain percentage, all we have to do as citizens is
51%.
agree. No, not 51%. 51%. You can't get 51% of the people to fucking vote. How are you going to get 51% to do anything? A referendum, it does not mean there's going to be change. You only need 5% to initiate a referendum. If enough people say, and you can determine it, 30%, if enough people say, yes, we need to let the people decide on the issue, then you have a referendum. Just like if 5% of the people said, pick an MP or an MPP, Chris Biddle, MP, isn't doing what the constituents of St. Catharines wanted. If 5% of the constituents in St. Catharines put that forward and 30% agreed with them, Chris Biddle would have no choice but to hold an election, a by-election within the riding, and a new MP elected. That's referendum initiated by the people. There is no under whose authority. Under the people's authority. If you can't understand that we, the people, have the power, and you think we need to be granted that power by somebody else, you're not understanding the whole concept of we, the people. And no one's trying to say they own. Stephen is saying no one owns the yellow vests, Ed. No one is trying to say they own the yellow vest, Stephen. Again, you're not listening, and maybe you missed part of it. Roman Light is one of the founding members of the organization in France. And with all the mainstream media and hoopla about it represents this and it represents that and it represents the other, Ed is telling you, after personally having spoken to Roman, exactly what it's about. It's about what I've been telling you for 4 days. It's about we, the people. That's what the movement's about, whether it's in France, Canada, Germany, Australia. It's about we, the people. There may be a whole bunch of issues. Somebody might be upset about this issue and somebody else might be upset about that issue. But both of those issues and all of the issues all boil down to the same bottom line. We, the people. Am I right, Ed?
That's pretty much it, Duke. And it's a simple concept. It's a universal concept. This is the difference between one person making a difference and we, the people, making a difference. Because a lot of people got the idea in their head. Like you said, they've been brainwashed and they're thinking, oh, one vote doesn't matter. But God damn it, one vote does matter. The last election, there was a lot of ridings that were only won by 200, 300, 400 votes.
Yeah.
Out of 50, 60,000. So yeah, that one vote does matter. And people got to get out there and vote. And again, if we can get enough people coming on to this Yellow Vest movement, and the first thing we got to do is get this referendum initiated by the citizens, get that passed into law, that 3% or 5%.
See,
that's the first thing.
Ed, you're pissing up a rope, dude. No corrupt... Like, Ed, what part of our government is an illegal mafia and is never going to pass legislation that will eliminate it from being an illegal mafia? Why can't you understand that?
Oh, I get it, Duke. I also
well, then why
understand
do you say the first thing we need to do is get this legislation passed? No, the first thing we need to do, my friend, is completely remove the corrupt structure of government and bureaucracy that is destroying our country.
And we can do that through a referendum.
Again, you seem to think laws are going to make all of this happen. It's not going to happen without bloodshed, Ed. That big pistol in your picture, I hope you're damn good with it, because you're going to need it, my friend.
Duke, I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, but
you can hope all you want. You can hope all you want. Our enemy is already shooting us in the fucking street
10-year-olds are dying because our enemy is waging war against us, and we're waiting for politicians to solve the fucking problem. What? Like, no. And Ed, I'm sorry, every time you say we need to pass a law, I want to punch you in the head. What fucking laws stopped the Danforth shooter, or the Yonge Street van attack, or the Calgary pickup truck attack on a policeman? Don't we already have laws to stop that? Yes. No fucking laws are going to stop this. No laws are going to stop the Islamic Party of Ontario, and then the Islamic Party of Canada. Our fucking laws are what they're using against us, because the people who make our laws are against us.
Let's get them. Let's get a referendum and get them taken out.
You're not going to get... The only way you're going to get a referendum is to get the people who are against you to go against themselves. Are you fucking stupid, Ed? You don't even smoke dope and you don't understand this. I smoke more fucking pot in one day than you smoke in your whole life, and you don't seem to understand. You're asking the criminal to go turn himself into the police. Like, holy fuck.
Well, that's what the whole Yellow Vest movement's about.
No, the Yellow Vest movement is not about getting the criminal to turn themselves in. The Yellow Vest movement is about we the people. And we the people are not going to achieve what they want to achieve by asking nicely. Wake the fuck up! You're not going to get it, Ed. They're not going to give up what they've spent here in Canada over 100 years lying to us about. They're not just going to go, oh, fuck. All right, here, have your referendum and vote us out of existence. We'll go away. That ain't going to fucking happen. Here, you go smoke this. Go smoke this. Because you need it more than I do. I'm sorry, buddy, but, like, get realistic, Ed. You're asking John Gotti to stand up and say, okay, well, here's all the evidence you need to put the entire mafia in prison. That's what you're asking the government to do.
If we get hundreds of thousands or millions of people marching on the government and they still don't want to listen to us,
you're not going to get hundreds of thousands of people marching on the government without the government taking guns and shooting at you. Hello? What part of we live in a communist fucking country just like the one your parents ran from? Do you not understand?
Well, we're not quite there, Duke, but we're getting there.
Okay, Barry, we are there. It's painted
we're
in
not
a facade
there.
that we are being fooled by the magicians saying, look here, look at this hand. You have democracy. You get to vote every 4 years. But the reality is in this hand that says your vote don't mean fuck all because we've been lying to you and been illegal since 1901. Squeeze. That's the truth.
Hey,
and it's called communism. Ask Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
Read the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah.
Then read a newspaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, come on, I know that. You know that, Duke.
Well, then why are you arguing with me that it's not communism? It is communism called democracy. It's the wizard behind the curtain.
I never disputed that fact with you at all. I agree
you
with
just
your
did.
fact
You
there.
said we don't have communism yet. Yes, we do. We just won't fucking admit it.
We're not full-blown communists yet.
Yes,
Duke.
we
There's
are.
Still a semblance. There's still semblances of threads of freedom in our society. We're not in a complete lockdown.
Between
but
you and me, between you, me, and maybe the 17 people, 14 people watching this video right now, and however many are over here on YouTube on my other computer. But Barry, for all intent and purposes, we live in a communist state.
in former Yugoslavia back in the early 80s, if you killed a man, you got 5 years, a hard time. You spoke against the state, you got 25 years. Isn't it interesting that Trudeau is bringing in this fines and penalties if you're speaking out against the compact of migration?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it's all
Sneak it in.
part of the agenda. They're going to shut us down.
Yeah.
Going to put us in jail for speaking against it, just
Now-
like everything else they're bringing in.
Now, that being said, former Yugoslavia is no longer communist or socialist. It's actually a democracy now.
Yep.
That was achieved through a referendum.
Yeah, but you got to look at all the other things that went on in countries all around there at that time, Ed. It was achieved through a referendum, and the possibility of that referendum was only realized because of all kinds of other things that went on in the Eastern Bloc countries at that time and leading up to the referendum.
Well,
You are well aware of them, Ed. Do I need to make you list them? Things like the Lech Walesa Polish Workers' Revolt, the collapse of the Berlin Wall, and that's a whole other issue that you don't want to get me going on Ronald Reagan, because I'll say things about him that will piss people off. But yeah, there was a whole lot of other things going on that made the possibility for a former communist bloc country to hold a referendum. The communist bloc, as it was, all of those Eastern European countries that had been taken over by Russia, much of Russia's control there was falling apart for a long time before Hungary had a referendum. A lot of things had to happen before the country had the ability to do that.
Well, if you look to our southern neighbor, the deep state's going to be taken down hopefully within the next year. That's something in our benefit.
We'll
see
where that
Well,
goes.
yeah, but Ed, you're forgetting what's going to happen as the fallout of taking them down, and that's what Barry and I were talking about. That dude you saw in Markham, Mr. Unifor, nobody's illegal. Him and all his union-loving buddies are going to go ape fucking shit berserk when people like Harper and Trudeau and half the bureaucrats in our government get indicted by the U.S. and wind up going to Gitmo. When they see Hillary going down, when they see major union leaders going down for contributing to the Clinton Foundation or to the Trudeau Foundation, and they prove that the Trudeau and the Clinton Foundation is a criminal syndicate, then all of these unions and the union leaders are going to go down because of it, Ed. And what's going to happen to guys like Mr. Unifor in your video? He's going to go fucking apeshit and wind up all of his union members like a great big wind-up monkey, each one of them, and turn them loose. And Antifa and Islamic Brotherhood are going to jump into the streets along with them and use union protesters on the street as a cover to smash and destroy all kinds of property, just like we saw on Locke Street in Hamilton. Locke Street in Hamilton was just a test run. Here, we've taught you to do this. Go prove that you can do it. When we need you to do it for real, we'll call you. That's what Locke Street was. And it's what's coming, dude. It's exactly how, Barry, you could probably cite country after country after country where political activists have used civilian activities as cover for their violent activities. And Ed, that's exactly what you were talking about with Roman and people using the Yellow Vest movement to cause shit and make the Yellow Vest movement look bad. That's exactly the kind of people we're talking about, or I'm talking about right now. It's gonna happen.
Well, let's keep organizing Yellow Vesters. Get the lawns, get the line drawn in the sand.
You won't, Ed. Remember a couple of weeks ago when you said to me the Yellow Vest movement it's been taken over by Antifa and the left. Don't wear a yellow vest. Remember when you said that to me? Do you remember
I was really concerned with what I was seeing on the Yellow Vest Canada.
I know. But do you remember what I said to you then? I told you, great. I hope the left takes over the movement secretly, and I hope 100,000 people join that site. And as the left leads 90,000 of them like rats following the Pied Piper off of Ireland, I hope the left leads 90,000 of the yellow vest people right off the edge of a cliff, because it'll leave 10,000 dedicated, unquestioned souls standing there that I want beside me. Let the left be the wind that clears the chaff from the wheat. And there's a lot of chaff out there to clear, buddy.
I was wondering about that statement, Duke. Now I'm clear on it. Sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah, and that goes all the way along. You're going to run into people and come across ideas and groups and that sort of thing who aren't as focused as they should be, and they're easily moved aside and swayed. Don't waste your time chasing after them, trying to bring them back. Let them go, because they're not committed and aren't going to be standing there beside you when you need someone standing there beside you. Okay? They're going to be hiding behind a tree going, I don't want to be here, where's my mommy? When you need someone standing beside you going, it's okay, Ed, I got your back, brother. So when the winds come along and clear that chaff, let it go. Be glad it's gone.
Well,
that's closing the doors
clear
on your arc. That's what that is, Ed. That's closing the doors on your arc. And it's a mental attitude that you've got to adapt. Long before you have to decide when and how to close the doors, buddy, you've got to psych yourself into being able to make that decision before the time comes that you actually have to make it.
Well, like I said, we got to keep organizing. We got to keep getting the message out. Those that'll join us, great. Those that won't, or those that are joining us for the wrong reasons, it'll all play out.
I hate to break things here for a second, but leave it to Glenn Dumont. Jimmy Knuckle. Hey, has anyone here heard about the pink vest movement?
I haven't. What's it about?
I don't know.
He's pulling your leg.
I know he is.
I wouldn't doubt it though.
You know what we need to do? Somebody needs to win a lottery, buy me a motorhome so I can go all the way out to the West Coast, and me and Glenn and Barry need to take a motorhome from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast to visit with Billy Joyce, and the three of us will be like Cheech and Chong and Willie Nelson. We'll just hotbox a motorhome all the way across the country. Every once in a while, we'll open a window and send out a smoke signal.
Hey, Duke, I want to step off. Can you invite Carl Edward Fleury in? He just made a great point. If you want to win at the game, you must first understand how the game works. I think this is something we should discuss if you got time or if you want to.
Not tonight. Not tonight. It's already 11 o'clock at night. I've been talking for 2 hours. I really want to go smoke this. Tomorrow night, just so everyone knows, now Barry, you've said that Roger has agreed to spend an hour with us.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Okay, so the first hour of my show, folks, I'm going to keep your questions and comments to the chat rooms. And then after the first hour, we'll let Roger get out of here so he's not going to have to sit here. And then you folks, I'll let you bring your cams in if a couple of you want to come and join the show and talk to Barry and I about the things that Roger talked about. You know that my shows are always open. My shows are all about my guests. They're all about you folks. I just, out of respect to Roger
and to avoid having like 16 people trying to ask him questions at once, we'll wait until Roger's gone, and then I'll open my Skype up, and we'll bring in some other guests. Ed, if you want to come in, or Stephen, if you want to come in, or Glenn. I recommend, folks, that if you want to come and join me on Skype, add me to your Skype contact list ahead of time so that I don't have to disappear from the show and go add my contact list so that you can come and join the conversation. If you're thinking about joining my show at any point in time, take a few minutes out of your afternoon and get a hold of me. Just send me a Skype ad request and I'll add you to my Skype list. Makes it a whole lot easier for me to bring you into the show. Laura Lee, I see you're in the Facebook chat room. I'd love to have you and Mary come join me some night.
Deborah Caron asks, Roger who? And I think she's referring to Roger Landry that runs the show, The Liberty Beacon. Can you expand on what he touches on and who he is?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to pass that over to you, Barry.
Huh? What?
Who is Roger Landry? What is the Liberty Beacon Network, and what does he do?
He was involved in American intelligence for years and years and years, and kind of had a switch in life, and now runs an organization called the Liberty Beacon out of the States. They have 17 websites worldwide, and we are running a TV show. And I'm actually going to be doing TV shows on that network here going forward. Look him up on the internet, guys, and read some of Roger's articles. Very knowledgeable man.
Yeah, he's nobody's slouch. And you can find thelibertybeacon.com online. You won't find Alex Jones style, what I call trashy tabloid headline grabbing kind of stuff on Liberty Beacon. You will find informative reading. You will find very informative interviews and pre-recorded conversations. Some of them are radio conversations like Barry's radio show. So they're just an audio file. There's no video along with it. It's not glitz and glitter, but it is very, very intelligent, informative information. And I really do, like I say, I've had Roger on my show before, and I'm really looking forward tomorrow to picking his brain.
Okay, well, I'm out of here tonight, Duke.
Barry, thanks for joining me, buddy. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. 9 o'clock. I may start a little bit early just so I can make sure we've got some viewers on, and I'll be looking for you and Roger on Skype at 9.
See you guys tomorrow night.
See you, Barry. I'll talk to you during the day.
Everybody in the Toronto area, I'll see you guys 11 o'clock, Nathan Phillips Square.
Yep, that's something I wanted to touch on, Ed. Thank you very much. That's how I wanted to close out the night, actually. Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto, was it 11 o'clock or 12 noon?
I'm showing up at 11. It's usually at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock? Okay, there you go. So that's Nathan Phillips Square. I know that in Southern Ontario, Hamilton, City Hall in Hamilton, I believe it's on King Street, downtown Hamilton. There is a rally being organized there for 12 noon in Hamilton. In St. Catharines at City Hall on Church Street, there are people gathering in front of City Hall in St. Catharines at 12 noon. There are people meeting in front of City Hall, or I believe on the main street in Port Colborne, small town of Port Colborne, Ontario, right along Lake Erie, where the Welland Canal meets Lake Erie. There's another group of people meeting at Woodlawn and Lincoln near the Seaway Mall in Welland. So there's events going on here in Niagara. Check the Yellow Vest Canada website, Facebook page, and they have an ongoing list of different events in different places. Basically, it doesn't matter where you can get to. If you live out in the middle of nowhere, but you can get to an overpass on the 401 or the Trans-Canada Highway or any kind of busy road, get to it. Stand on the overpass. You know, if you've got an overpass, I'll give you a great idea for a sign. Go take some old white sheets, get yourself black and red spray cans, hang the sheet or lay the sheet on the ground or hang it on the side of your house or your garage or something that you can paint on, put it up against your fence. Spray paint a message right on the bed sheet and then fasten the bed sheet to the railing of the overpass. Okay? Boom, you just made a sign. And big so people can read it as they're driving by. And make your sign simple. Trudeau must go. You could even do that in 2 lines on a bed sheet. Trudeau must go. Across a bed sheet, and you hang it off the railing of a bridge as cars are driving by underneath you. And if you're wearing a yellow vest, they're gonna see you. That's all they need to see, folks. A yellow vest and a big, easy to read, short message sign. People don't have time, even if you're in the city, people don't have time to read a whole friggin' Trudeau did this and shit on that and did this and we should do that and we should... They haven't got time to read a whole friggin' paragraph of stuff. Keep your signs to 5 or 6 lines, 1 to 2 words per line. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward, hard-hitting message like the signs you've seen on the wall here behind me, okay? Real simple message. KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Apparently Woodlawn in Lincoln does not exist. You must mean Niagara Street.
Sorry, Deborah. Yes, Woodlawn and Niagara, right by Seaway Mall. Sorry.
And the dog's not alive. It's actually a wolf that I got, that someone stuffed and gave it to me for Christmas.
Diana says City Hall, Moncton, City Hall, 655 Main Street, Moncton, New Brunswick. There you go, folks. Like Carl Edward Fleury. Good night, everyone. I've been trying to catch his posts and I keep missing them.
Well, let me read the last one before that.
Okay.
If you're interested in some good news and some real information based on facts, you can always invite me and I'll fill you in. We have been working hard and are getting results every time, simply because we know how the game works and where the truth is. So I'll just give you a little bit here about what Carl's going after and his group. Apparently there's an issue about the Magna Carta that was given to the people that live under the crown. Okay. They've been taking the various government agencies to court, and they've been winning, apparently by using elements of the Magna Carta. Now, I'm just paraphrasing from what I've heard. Okay. I haven't grasped the whole concept. Okay. But they have been winning in court recently.
Here's where the difference lies, okay? And I hate to rain on the whole Magna Carta, we can use this legislation to empower the people. The whole problem with the Magna Carta, it applies to British citizens, not British subjects. Canadians were never citizens of Canada because Canada was a dominion, not a country. Okay? So we as people weren't citizens of the crown, we were subjects of the crown, and Magna Carta doesn't apply to us.
Interesting how a simple legalese can change everything, eh?
Yeah. Because Magna Carta applied to citizens of Britain, citizens of the crown. And the difference is the words citizen and subject. See, as Canadians in 1867, blah, 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 we weren't citizens of England. We were citizens of the government of Canada, but we weren't citizens of England. We were subjects of the British Crown. And Magna Carta does not apply to subjects, because subjects aren't part of England. We are property of, not humans. Do you see the difference?
So the only people that can get Magna Carta rights are people that have actually gotten their citizenship.
British citizenship.
Well, we do swear to the Queen and the Crown.
No, we don't. We don't.
Our elected officials do.
So what? So what?
Let's talk to Carl Edward Fleury about this one day soon.
It doesn't apply to us. I'd love to have Carl on the show. How about next weekend? Put it together with him, and we'll bring him in on... we'll bring him in for Politically Speaking on Saturday night.
Eunice was a citizen of the Crown until 1949. What happened after 1949, Eunice? Or did she come here from...
She immigrated here.
Okay. Charles Roach says, we were just screwed into slavery.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It started in 1982 in Canada, I believe.
No, Ed. It started in it started in 1792 in Niagara-on-the-Lake, when a foreign government appointed our leader, who appointed his advisors, and allowed the people to pick someone to speak on their behalf. The Legislative Council has veto over the Legislative Assembly, and the Lieutenant Governor, or in the case of the federal government, the Governor General, has veto over the Council, who has veto over the legislature. So let's put that into modern parliamentary Ottawa status. Down here at the bottom is your MP, your Member of Parliament, your representative. Above them is your Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, Minister of Education, appointed. No one elects those positions, they are appointed. Way up here at the top, we have Governor General. These people down here that we elect, they get to voice their opinion and tell these people up here what we want to do. These people, the appointed ones, have the legal ability to say, we don't give a shit, shut up, we don't have to listen to you. And if these people say, well, okay, we'll do it. This one here at the top that we don't vote for, we don't pick, we don't choose, we don't select, this Governor General up here has every legal right to say, well, I don't care what you guys, advisors and council said, fuck you, I'm not letting it happen. That's how our government system works. Now, I want you to think about the CEO, the Chief Financial Officer, the Human Rights Administration Officer, the IT Director, and all the appointed members of a board of directors in a corporation. Then I want you to think about the shareholders, the people and the union reps who go to that board meeting and they raise issues either for the shareholders, the financial end, or the employees, the slaves, the citizens of the company. Those elected people here go to the appointed people here and try to get something done for the unimportant people down here. The employees, the citizens, the slaves, okay? And who holds all the power? The CEO. So even if you convince your union reps, this is what we need, the union rep has to take it to the company then has to take it to the CEO, and the CEO doesn't give a shit about the employees down here, about the citizens, about the slaves. He says, fuck it, we'll worry about it next year. Or the next CEO can worry about it. Or we'll blame it on the last CEO and we can't fix it. Sound familiar? Our Canadian government isn't a government designed by the people, formulated and structured by the people, given powers that are controlled by the people. Our government is a corporate CEO type top-down structure. Has been all along, because it was never ever created by, for, and of the people of Canada. Next.
Interesting analogy. Now, the CEO doesn't control a corporation. It's the board of directors that actually vote on policy.
You might want to rethink that, Ed. How many big companies have you sat in on the board? I guarantee you, if Henry Ford wanted to do something with the Ford Motor Company, he did what the hell he wanted to do, regardless of what the board members and the investors and everybody else wanted. And the same thing happens with every single big corporation. I don't care. What you see voting at a board table, it's the result of all kinds of, come on, let's go to the cottage for the weekend. Like, where do you think all these pedophiles have their leverage and influence? Because they use the deviant behavior of the dark side of people's personality against them. CEOs do whatever the hell they want to do, Ed. They may not stay if they do the wrong thing, because they can be removed, and we've seen that happen. But I could cite corporation after corporation after corporation where decades of wrongdoing have ended up in CEOs being criminally charged because they just went too far. But if they'd have backed off just a little bit, they could have kept on being dictatorial pricks and criminals. If they'd have just eased up a little bit, they wouldn't have pissed people off enough to have to get busted.
Well, usually the board of directors are voted in by groups of shareholders. Usually. Depends how the corporation is structured also, and how it's brought in, what the minutes of the law of its charter is, again.
And again, you're looking at shareholders who could be little Susie Grandma, who inherited 15 shares of General Motors from her husband when he died, because he worked for GM and got them as part of his pay. She has no idea what's going on and never bothers to vote. So just like our federal or provincial elections, where we get maybe 20% voter turnout, the same thing happens with boards of directors and shareholders meetings. I know, I've been there and watched them in huge corporations, investment corporations. And out of like 500,000 shareholders, you get a couple of hundred votes come back through the mail or through email. Yeah. Okay?
And then you've got unions that buy up a lot of these shares of these corporations.
Thank you.
And that's how their control comes. But people wouldn't really know that now, would they?
No, because the unions don't want you to know that. They also don't want union members to know where their union dues are really being used. Unifor. Unifor is one of those unions that doesn't represent any one particular industry sector. It doesn't represent the auto workers. It doesn't represent the carpenter's laborer or the steel workers. It represents it's a union of unions. Gee, does that sound familiar? USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Unifor, a union of unions. Can you say communism at work in our society?
Can I? Yes. Will I? No.
Why? Why won't you?
I don't care for unions.
Well, exactly. And why don't you care for them? Because they're communism at work within our society. That's really what they are.
Anyways, Duke, I'm going to let you go. It's late. So Carl Fleur, you want to bring him on this Sunday night or not?
No. Next Saturday. Saturday is my politically speaking. So he wants to talk politics. Let's bring him in on Saturday night for politically speaking. Tomorrow night I've got Roger Landry in. So next Saturday on the 12th.
All right, I'll set it up. Good night, Patriots.
All right, buddy. Take care, Ed. Good luck tomorrow. Are you going to go live for us at some point tomorrow?
Yeah, I may on my page, or do you want me to go live on your page?
No, I'll be live on my page. Ron Devereaux and I are heading out. I'm not sure where exactly we're going. I think we might go to Welland or Port Colborne tomorrow. And then Sunday we're going back out again.
I don't want to know where you're going because I don't want the Antifas to be bringing you coffee.
No, we don't tell people. That's why I said there's several different locations where other people are going to be, but I honestly don't know. Ron keeps it a secret until tomorrow morning. He'll say to me, well, I talked to so-and-so and we're going up there. Okay.
Cool. Have fun. Weather should be good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have a good day out in the street. I got a bunch of new signs made up, so. All right, buddy.
Fun.
Thanks for coming on.
Have a good night.
Good night, Ed. There you go, folks. That's another Friday night drawn to a close here in St. Catharines. Not sure where all you folks are, but I'm in St. Catharines. Let's have a look here. Let me flip over here to the Facebook chat room. Steven, how you doing, buddy? And you're right, we don't want to admit what it is. And I know it sounds like I pick on Ed a lot, but Ed is a perfect example of typical Canadians who just, no, it can't be that bad. Please, we don't have to be that extremes. Yes, you do. Yes, we do. That's what it's come to. That's what our enemies have pushed us to, ladies and gentlemen. We patriots, we Canadians, we haven't created this environment. We're being forced to deal with it. And I will not hide the fact I intend to deal with this so that my granddaughter's granddaughter won't have to deal with this. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? World War I, we thought it was done. World War II, we thought it was done. And now here it is, sneaking like a snake in the dark, coming back in on us. And it's not done, is it? Evil is still there. David still has to face Goliath. Well, I am going to do as much as I can to make sure that David is put down and stays down until after my great-great-granddaughter has had her great-great-granddaughter. Yeah, that may sound like wishful thinking, but it's the only hope that keeps me pushing forward through this fucking mess. And not just throwing my hands up and moving out in the middle of nowhere and living off-grid and killing anything that comes close to us. Because that's no future for my kid, or my grandkid, or her grandkid. You've seen her here beside me on my videos every once in a while. That's my granddaughter. Someday she's going to have a granddaughter. And I have to know that that little one is going to look up and say, my grandpa didn't just sit on his ass.
Tomorrow night, folks, 9 o'clock. I'm going to start a little bit early, maybe about 1:45. Roger Landry, libertybeacon.com. Go check it out. The man's going to be here tomorrow. We're going to talk specifically about indictments. He's nobody's slouch. You heard Barry. Roger is former U.S. military intelligence. Okay, he worked in the American intelligence industry. That's what he did for a living for years. Now he owns and runs 17 website, Liberty Beacon Network. I've had him on my show before. He's an amazing man to talk to. He's got more information coming out of his brain than any of us could ever hope to try and hang on to. But if we all take one little tidbit of it together, we'll know what he's talking about. Okay? Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, probably 1:45, I'll get things going just so that my audience has time to get on and get everything connected and turned on and watching, so that at 9 o'clock when I bring Barry and Roger on, you guys can have the show running on your computers already. I'd highly recommend you find a way to record it if you can, because I know Roger is going to tell you things that you're going to go, what the fuck did he just say? I know he is. So I'm also going to play a couple of videos tomorrow night, just short little clips that may make you just sort of sit up and say, very interesting. Right now, folks, I am heading out to the backyard to dispose of the evidence, because it's been 2.5, 3 hours that I've been sitting here on this friggin' computer, yakking and talking. And if you're not sick of listening to me, I'm sick of listening to me. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Politically Speaking, Facebook, YouTube, right here. Watch my timeline on Facebook tomorrow around noon, 1 o'clock, noon probably, 12:30 kind of thing. I should be going live around 12 noon at whatever location Ron Devereaux decides we're going to. I have no idea where it's going to be. Could be St. Catharines, could be Niagara Falls, Welland, Port Colborne, Fort Erie. I have no idea. Wherever Ron wants to go, that's where we're going. I'm taking my phone and my selfie stick, and I'll be going live probably around noon hour. So pay attention to that. Pay attention for that. Watch for that on my Facebook timeline. Unfortunately, YouTube, I won't be able to get out live to you guys tomorrow with my phone. I can only do these multiple platform, Facebook and YouTube broadcasts here in my studio. So, sorry, YouTube, you won't get a live video tomorrow afternoon. You'll have to wait until tomorrow night. Gaming JB, right on, brother. I got one up here. I enjoy my own. I have a garden out back. I grew my own this summer. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. I want to play you this little video that I put together for my On the Patio. Take care, folks. Thanks for joining. Please hit the like button, hit the follow button, and hit the share button. I told you the other night, 55,000 people reached from one of my Facebook pages in a week. And that's because you people, my supporters, my followers, you take and share things from my page to your page. Your friends comment on it, they share it. Their friends comment on it and they share it. 55,000 people in 1 week. All because of you. Not because of me, because of you. I'm just the voice. You are the conduit. You are the pipe that feeds this message out. Okay? I can't do this alone. I need you people on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Share this out to your Twitter account. Share it out to your
Pinterest. Share it back into your Facebook accounts if you've got Facebook. Share that out, okay, folks? We got to get the word out there. And you know from watching my shows, it's not my word. I got way too many guests that come on my show. It's everybody's word that everybody has to get out there. And I can't do it alone. I need you to help me. Take care, folks. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. Keep Canada Canadian.
This is Gary Gnu.
Hi, everybody. It's Friday night. Welcome to the patio.
Only TV news program guaranteed to contain no news whatsoever.
Canadian Combat Coalition, because their leader has got balls this fucking big, and he don't mind telling you how it is. Duke Willis, only one I respect.
Well, you put me down.
2017 ended with me getting mobbed by Antifa in Niagara Falls. My buddies and I were abandoned by George Halleck and the Storm Alliance because I posted a pic about beating the hell out of Antifa. George didn't like that. I wound up getting hot chocolate and bottles of water dumped on me, and my buddy rode his Harley right through the crowd of Antifa. We had fun. Thanks, George.
Get me a job working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The only one that I got any respect for from Patriot Group is Duke Willis, because he'll fucking tell you how it is. He's just telling you how it is.
Well, I'm gonna start doing everything that I should.
With the exception of CCC and Duke Willis. You got a leader there that don't give a fuck. He'll tell you how it is, and I like him.
Turn Labor Day weekend into Labor Day week. Shut the country down for an entire week. Just stay home.
But for you Patriot Groups, Duke Willis, you're the only one with any balls, buddy. Thumbs up, you're the only one with any fucking balls out there.
On the Patio, live, Friday nights at 9, Facebook and YouTube. Join the show via Skype or Facebook Messenger. Just look for Duke Willis. Wear your tinfoil hat. Things tend to get a little crazy on the patio.